Hi, this is Zak Mir with the Bulletin Board Heroes here at Zak's Traders Cafe for Friday, the 28th of April, and sort of drift for the FTSE at the moment, back towards that 50-day moving average. That was our fear. That's around 77.60 now, and the view now is that only a break of that February resistance line now around 79.20 on an end-of-day close really unwinds the issue here of a potential test of that 50-day line. Ideally, there's no break back below that. We have an RSI 50 bounce. We're around 52 at the moment, and then we head higher after testing the 50-day moving average, but obviously not looking great over the course of the last week. On to the DAX, which has been that bit stronger than the FTSE, still holding above the old 15,700 resistance area from February and March. Above that, we could still head up to the top of that rising trend channel from the autumn, around 16,500 by the end of next month. Otherwise, there's the risk of a test of the 50-day line, 15,400. But RSI still above 50, so technical glass still half full rather than half empty. Speaking of half empty, that's probably more on the Dow than the other two markets here, but we had a surprise rebound for this market above the 50-day line. We were expecting the possibility that would be hit at 33,100, but actually managed to bounce above it, and looking for an end-of-day close through 34,100, which would snap the negative trend that we've had on the daily chart since this time last year. Above 34,100, looking at 36,500, otherwise a test of the 50-day line. Maybe the thing that most technical traders are looking for. RSI at 57, so in a good place. That's a good place for breaking to the upside rather than anything else. On to Bitcoin, where we've been hoping that we'd have a decent push through the 30,000 zone. It's not happening today, but at least during the week we had a bounce off the 50-day moving average around 27,500. Above that, looking for at least a retest of this month's peak towards 31,000. You can see that big resistance line target there at 34,000, maybe for the end of next month. Back below the 50-day line, and there's the risk of a test of February resistance around 25,000. On to the stocks, and starting off with Ben's Creek. Here you can see that shares responding well to today's news. Unfilled gap to the upside off the low. It looks like it could be a bear trap gap reversal if we close above 17 pence. We've got bullish divergence there as well, so that would suggest that we could head up to 18 or 19 pence, even if the shares drift back after that. Best case scenario would be an end of day close or a weekly close above the 50-day line at 19 pence, and then a journey towards 26 pence over the following month or so. But early days, even though we've had that gap to the upside, which can be a decent signal. On to Blenco, where it looks as though things are finally moving in a decent way. We've already got the 200-day line rising, and we've basically had support around that area towards 4 pence. Broken above the 50-day moving average over this week, and above that at 4 3/4, looking for 7 3/4, or 7.5 rather, by the end of next month. On to Chill, which keeps on rising almost on a daily basis, which is very, very impressive indeed. But obviously we had a couple of days back earlier in the week. But looking for 7 pence as the initial target here, while we're above 5 pence, and then up to as high as 11 or 12 pence by the end of June, if we maintain the current run rate of recovery. Upside valid certainly while we're above 5.5 to 5.25 as support. Onto a stock which has been a bit of a one-way trip over the last few months, but might just be the case now that Graft Polymer turns around. Obviously you can see the RSI there practically on zero, so that's a rather unusual situation. Could be a situation where we're looking at the shares at least trying to fill that gap down left around the 8 pence area, even if there is then a further resumption of the downtrend. But so far a little bit of action there with the very oversold RSI towards the zero level. On to another stock which is trying to bounce back. Here we've got Hellenic Dynamics, which I think I looked at earlier in the week. 50-day rising now, 50-day moving average, and above that at 0.09 pence, looking for 0.16 as soon as the end of next month. RSI bounced off the neutral 50 level as well, so that can be a recovery signal. Moving on to Intelligent Ultrasound, which is heading towards the target we had there, the sort of the higher target, up towards as high as 19 pence, looking for that to be hit by the end of next month, while we hold above support, or resistance rather, on the way down at 13 pence. Good stake building news for Pensana, which rather flies in the face of the cynics around the stock. Here you can see that the shares have been looking to try and bounce off the floor of that falling trend channel from September. A bit of an overshoot down to, 22 pence, but above 25 pence there's a chance of a move up to 35 pence at the second resistance line there, or trend line there, from back in September. So above 25, looking for 35, even if the shares then drift from there. The high today already 32.9. On to Reabold Resources, which has given the market what it was looking for, in fact, more aggressively with the share buyback. And here you can see that the shares have gapped off the low, which is something we like. There's been bullish divergence there as well, which is another thing we like. And end of day close through 0.2, and we are looking for a journey back to the mid-20s, so back to the 200-day moving average area around 0.25. And hopefully we'll see that by the end of next month if we remain above recent support around 0.18 pence. Moving along to TPX Impact, and here we've got that classic pattern of breaking falling wedge, breaking the 50-day moving average, which was done around 27 pence, and then consolidating above a rising 50-day line, and then the next move higher, looking for 53, 54 pence at the top of that falling trend channel. Could even head up to 62 pence by the end of next month, while we remain above recent resistance, broken resistance at 35. So above 35, looking for 60 plus on TPX. Stock which gave news today, results today, was URA Holdings, and here it just looks as though finally found support at the floor of that rising trend channel that's been in place since the stock came to market. We're also above the rising 200-day moving average, so the view here is above 1.6 pence, looking for at least a retest of 2.5 pence, hopefully by the end of next month. Big picture target over the next 2 to 3 months, maybe up to 4 pence, but the key here is holding above that rising 200-day moving average. Finishing off with an old favourite, Vast, which is continuing to build above the rising 50-day moving average. That's very encouraging. That's around 0.59. Above that, we're looking for 0.9 as soon as the end of next month, and we like that V-shaped or U-shaped reversal, bull flag reversal, and the way that shares have found RSI support above the neutral 50 levels of 0.9, while we're above the 0.6 pence area. That's it for me today. More updates over the long weekend.